Oh, yeah.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, if you listen very closely, you can hear it in the background.
That was really quiet.
I know, but I can't turn up that sound while the theme song is playing.
That's true.
Because then it just turns up the theme song and that clip at the same time.
And we're not blare their ears out like we did last week.
Yeah. Hey, no, we didn't. We re-recorded. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Cardassians. This is Nick.
This is Rob.
This is Joe.
And as you know, we are a podcast focused on pop culture and comics and all. Well, pop culture are comics, movies, TV shows, music, all that good stuff. We began as a Star Trek podcast. We branched out a little bit, but Star Trek is still a big passion of ours. But right now, we are reviewing Battlestar Galactica. We're in season 3 of it, and we have 2 episodes we're going to review with you today: A Day in the Life and Dirty Hands. Dirty Hands? Oh, you know what that makes me think of?
Oh, Billy.
Oh! That's what makes me think of. I don't know why, but it does.
Does everybody else miss Billy?
I miss Billy.
I do miss I do miss Billy, but unfortunately, Rosalind gave him
Diabetes.
and he died.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
He got diabetes through a bullet, and it killed him. And it was really sad.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. So yeah, we got those 2 episodes to review today: Day in the Life and Dirty Hands.
Did he die? He died in the
second
shootout
half.
in the bar. In
the bar. Yeah. He jumped in front of a bullet that was meant for Lee or D.
D, I
That
think.
was meant for D. Did we never realize that Lee and D are married? Lee and D.
I don't think we put that together.
What would be their What would be their name? Would it just be E?
It'd be Lee and D.
Lead?
D and Lee.
Lead.
Deal? Lead? Weed.
Big frackin' deal.
Big frackin' deal.
Big frackin' deal.
All right. So before we get into that, though, there's a couple things that we want to talk about. One of the things we haven't talked about in a long time is Star Trek. It's been a while.
We're all a little behind on Strange New Worlds, so we
Yeah.
apologize for that.
Yeah, we've fallen behind. Joe still has not watched even the first episode.
We all have to.
I'm binging it.
We all have to catch up
I have a
before the
plan.
crossover episode, which is the 27th.
Yeah, I mean, the last one I watched is the Locust Eaters ones. And you've watched all 5 of them so far.
By
And
this time,
there'll
there'll be 6. Yeah.
And I got to say, this season is not catching my interest as much.
Well, I would agree with that, but episode 5 was a lot of fun. It's the one with
Yeah.
Spock becoming human for a bit because of Star Trek shenanigans. And so it's a lot of Nurse Chapel, a lot of Spock. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun episode.
I did catch a clip of the eating scene where he's eating bacon or something like that, and he goes nuts about bacon, which...
He's like, what's that glorious smell? And Pike was like, oh, Pike's hair in this episode?
On point.
It is on
Boner material.
point. I'm looking at it going, holy Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he smells bacon and he tastes it and can appreciate the flavor of it. And there you go. It's a good episode. But so yeah, I would agree. This season is not as good as 1 so far.
Yeah. I mean, like, the funny thing is, and we reviewed the first 3, the Locust Eaters ones. My issue isn't so much the Star Trek content of it. It's a really good idea. Like, this planet makes them lose their memory and all that kind of stuff. And it's how they
Executed.
execute. It was just, I didn't like the execution.
I agree.
Wasn't bad, wasn't good.
Yeah, it's forgettable.
It's forgettable. Yeah. It falls into line with what a lot of Star Trek, honestly, let's be honest, is. There's a lot of episodes of Star Trek that are very forgettable.
But then every once in a while you have one you want to forget, like Sub Rosa, and you can't.
Yeah. Or Move Along Home.
I cannot wait till we watch Sub Rosa with you. I cannot wait.
Oh my god.
Move Along Home, baby.
Is this worse than what was the boxing episode of BSG?
Unfinished Business.
Jesus, that
Sub
was
Rosa.
bad. That episode stunk.
Gosh, I liked that episode.
Yeah, you
hated
would.
that.
Well, I
episode.
didn't like it. I gave it a 4. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't think it stunk. I just...
You didn't give it a 2?
I gave it a 3, and I retroactively want to
You
cut
can't
that
do
in half.
that. That's not
I'm
the
cutting
way
it in
this-
half.
This world doesn't work that way. But anyway, I'm hoping Star Trek picks up. I'm hoping now that you've all seen episode 6 out there, you can be like, Nick, deal with it. It's going to be okay. I'm not saying I'm knocking it. I still think this is better than Discovery. I still think this is better
It's not hard.
than Enterprise. I still think it's better than Voyager.
First 2 seasons of Picard?
First 2 seasons of Picard. I still think it's better.
How does the third season of Picard stack up against the first season of Strange New Worlds?
It's right there with it.
It's right there with it, easily.
I wouldn't say it's better because here's why I don't think it's better. I think you and I, as TNG fans, are relying a lot on our nostalgia.
Well, yeah, because you get these characters back and they execute the characters well.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it's like that for someone who is
coming into it.
You know what? In all fairness, though, so my daughter watched TNG.
She doesn't count.
And she loves season 3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't have the history. Like, I go back to 90 or 91 with Next Generation when I first started watching it, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so she only has the recent history.
Maybe she'd be a good one to ask then.
It'd be a good one to that.
Yeah. I don't know.
YouTube special.
Yeah. We should do a YouTube special on Start. We should do that once the whole season has ended, really review.
Season 2 review.
Our Picard ones were rated very, like, they got viewed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. That's why I'm like, I like the YouTube special for those too.
Yeah.
You know what I also like? Having free time to do that.
Yeah, true.
That doesn't exist right now.
That is true.
That's the big downfall.
Run us through your work schedule. I want to know your work schedule.
Basically, Joe's
For
calling
real.
BS.
Well,
For real.
Sunday I work from about 10:30 to 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
Monday I catch up on rest from Sunday's work. Tuesday I start anticipating Sunday coming. Wednesday I think about the fact that Tuesday I was anxious about.
Wednesday you have your coffee thing you have to do.
I have coffee and then I write a sermon. Thursday I
Write a sermon. For Sunday, you write the sermon on Wednesday?
Yeah, I usually write it way ahead of
I've seen you in a number of Saturdays
where
you're
not,
like,
well, it's written, but it's not.
Okay.
It's drafted.
Saturdays. It's drafted. Because what I tend to do, so what I really tend to do when my schedule isn't too crazy, a lot of my schedule is visitations, calling people, talking to people, administration of the church, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to start noodling what my sermon is going to, a year in advance, I have my schedule planned out for what my sermon series are going to be, what I'm going to talk about. So I already know I have a sheet that I can look into and be like, okay, this week we're in John, and this is the topic. So on Monday, I'll look at that and I'll be like, okay, where am I going to go? And I start thinking about it and gestating it in my brain, and I start kind of writing it out in my brain. Usually on Wednesday is when I start putting it down on paper, and then I kind of ignore it until either Friday or Saturday night, and then I look it over and decide if I need to rewrite it or if I'm happy with it and what I need to add into it. So that's how my writing process works.
Okay.
Usually takes me, when I think about all the thought I put into it and the writing, it's probably 10 to 15 hours per
I thought you were going to say minutes.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
great.
You're supposed to, when you write a sermon, they told you in seminary, they
I
say
just go on YouTube, find one.
for every minute of your sermon should be an hour of prep time or research.
Every minute of the sermon is a...
So a 20-minute sermon should take you 20 hours to put together. And that includes...
Come to my
thinking
church.
about it
Every
in your
sermon
head.
is 1 minute.
Amen, brother.
That's what his wife would say too.
Amen, brother.
I'm not married.
Amen,
I
brother.
said his.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but some weeks are really busy for me, really, really busy. Like I'm working a lot. Some weeks are really slow. That's how the church kind of works. It's interesting.
Some weeks you Jesus, some days you.
Well, and then
Judas.
and a lot of it is not just local church that I'm involved in. I'm involved in committees that are in the state. I'm involved in committees that deal with like.
What state
national
committees are you on?
Not like state committees, but just like within the United Methodist Church. So I'm in those sorts of things. So I do work outside of the local church and more the state church.
Debrief us on everything that you do.
No, not going to do that. What is it exactly you do here? I'm a people person, damn it.
What do you do?
Well, it was the Barney Simpson from How I Met Your Mother. Psh, psh.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. What is it you do? Or Chandler? What does Chandler do? What was it?
Is it transponster?
Transponster. Ooh,
That's not even a
that's
word.
not even a word. What else we got from Beyond Star Trek?
Well, we're late to a lot of these, but we have Superman castings.
Okay.
We had Anthony Kerrigan as Metamorpho. He is like the
Nailed it.
bald guy. He was in Gotham. He's in a couple different things. Not really a movie actor that I'm aware of, so it'd be interesting to see how he pulls it off. We have Isabella Merced, I think it is.
Okay.
Nailed
She
it.
is Hawk Girl.
Okay.
We have Edai Kathigai.
Nailed it.
You are killing it.
As Mr. Terrific.
I appreciate how it's not me this time.
Yeah. And Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner.
Oh, you get the white guy's name.
Well, it's pretty simple.
So here's what's so interesting about these castings is James Gunn has been saying all along he's going to ground these more, and they're going to go back to telling people stories and all that. And then you get all these superhero castings. It brings a little bit of concern for me.
It does bring a little bit of concern, but are they in it for long?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like Peacemaker, he casted all these people and then he kills them off right away. Right.
Trust the gun.
You look at the Guardian series. There was a lot of castings in there, but they nailed the
I finally saw
storylines.
3, by the way.
It's so good.
It is really good.
It is really good. And the end, like the ending payoff with the new team, but like them dancing along the flow in the machine at the end. I love that.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I really enjoyed it.
It was really good.
It was really good. And Rocket's story was sad. Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
I thought he was dead for sure.
Good story, though.
Yeah.
Good story. I do worry a little bit about that. I want to trust James Gunn on this.
Guy Gardner, though, and Nathan Fillion playing Guy Gardner, where I guess he's going to...
Because Guy Gardner, he's like the obnoxious
he's
Green
the
Arrow, right?
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, yeah.
He's a douchebag.
Yeah.
He's got a bowl cut and everything, and he's already said that Nathan Fillion's going to have the bowl cut.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I
So
know.
I'm not as familiar as Guy Gardner's Green Arrow.
Green
Lantern.
Lantern.
Nailed
Gosh,
it.
I even thought about it
Nailed
before I
it.
said it. Why does he become the Green Lantern when it's supposed to choose someone who's worthy?
I don't remember,
Okay.
but things happen.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to Guy Gardner more than anything else.
I'm betting you it'll be small, like you said, small.
I think it's going to be like
5 minute.
that's what I'm hoping is that it's kind of a means to accelerate the story, and it's maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it'll even just be like a story on the news that you see in the background with them doing. Because a lot of times they'll do that. They cast these characters and you think they're big deals.
Well,
and
Nathan
they're in and
Fillion
out.
wasn't in Guardians for very long either.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He was a small role there. Or who knows? Maybe they'll get cut at one point. You know, sometimes you cast these roles and you get them cut on the cutting room floor. So, I don't want to get into DC talk, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
By the time this airs, Oppenheimer would have came out, and Barbie.
And we will have saw it, and I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Both of them, Barbie and Oppenheimer, get 10s
Yes.
out of 10s for me.
that might be when we go over Star Trek Beyond the week after.
We'll have to see how our reviews track out. Like, we'll have to...
I do like to call our shots before we go into the movie.
Yeah, let's shoot our
I think that's funny.
Actually, Oppenheimer, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. I'm going to say it's a little too long, but they nailed the drama elements. I think Cillian Murphy did a really great job. I appreciate their castings, especially when they casted people like Einstein. They nailed the Einstein casting. Emily Blunt is great in her role as the wife. It's a little tragic, but I enjoyed it.
Dude, you convinced me that you watched it
I
already.
shot my shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barbie, I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. I'm going to say it was a fun movie.
Fun time.
Fun movie, and John Cena in his role as Barbie, as a Ken, fantastic.
Yeah.
The guy can nail just about anything.
Yeah.
And Margot Robbie was the perfect
Perfect
for this
casting of Barbie. Will Ferrell's cameo in it is great too. I
role.
really
Ryan
enjoyed
Gosling,
it.
I'm a little tired of because he's not Jason Momoa, so
I get that.
yeah.
You shut up. You shut your mouth.
He's drastically overrated. So
you will not speak on the good name of the cute name of Ryan Gosling.
I think they could have got a much better Ken. A much better Ken.
You know what?
Diabetes.
I think there's 100 different people that could have played a better Ken.
I'm out of here.
Joe quit.
So I would have given it a 9, but because Ryan Gosling ruined it,
Big
it's a
fracking
7.
deal.
A
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
7 out of 10.
This guy's.
All right. We'll see. We'll shoot our shots. Kobe.
As you guys know, I didn't see either movie.
That tracks. That tracks.
So that's good.
Yeah, that's good. All
so
right.
I wanted to my daughter wanted to go see Oppenheimer.
What
Then
gave you pause?
But then
Mr.
my wife sent me a text saying, there's an extended and graphic sex scene in there.
I got that text from my son.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that. I can't do that.
I've been trying to set up a time and date for me to take my oldest, who's 16, and maybe my 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he sent me a text. We're not going to take Clementine because there's a 15-minute sex scene in it.
They said
And I was like,
15 minutes?
yeah. Let me pull up the text.
Holy shit.
I don't know.
5 times by then, gentlemen. 5 times.
Yeah, it is Christopher Nolan, so he does things bigger.
That's going to be Nick's critique. It wasn't realistic.
It wasn't realistic.
It wasn't grounded.
Maybe that's the build up to the scene itself. Like maybe it's like they're in a conversation. And
He goes, also, we should not take Clementine. It has a 15-minute long sex scene, which is crazy.
I'm not taking a. Yeah, I'm not. No.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but
I don't know, man. But once she said graphic and
extended,
and I'm like, nope. And I'm catching crap from my household, but nope.
From who? From the daughter?
Wife and daughter. She's like, come on, Dad. I'm like, I don't want to experience this with you, and nor should that.
It's an uncomfortable experience.
I don't think. It says
I think
rated R 17 below with an adult. You're 16, so dadding, not doing it, man.
Well, and you can see it, and then maybe you go,
Exactly.
okay, maybe
that's why I told him, like, I'm going to go watch it with Nick or Joe or whoever I line up with, and then I will make a judgment call after I see the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Or at least if you think the rest of it is good, you can at least say, okay, from here on out, close your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep taking that for 15 minutes.
Well, I told Eli already he's not going. I said, Eli, I get there's a little bit of hypocrisy in this because it's like I'll let you see movies where people get shot and killed and there's blood and there's gore and there's all that. And,
Yeah, but that's awesome.
And this is a sex scene and like sex is a natural. Like I had this conversation. It's like sex is natural. It's part of the human condition, whatever. But it's going to be super uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be uncomfortable for you, right? He's like, yeah, Dad. And like, so we kind of both agreed it's not. I mean, he's only 12.
This is the same kid that was catcalling people, right? So he's probably going in there taking notes.
Yeah.
Eli, what's that?
Show me your boobs. It's like, dude, Eli, what's wrong with you?
He's probably going to write it on a piece of paper and make it into an airplane and send it to the screen.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Eli. I know you listen.
What else, gentlemen?
I lost track. Did you have anything?
Yeah.
Go-
you gentlemen came
Yeah, I
over
did.
my house.
Oh God.
You came over my house. So my birthday was a couple weeks back.
How old did you turn?
40 on July 2nd. So about 3 weeks ago, 4 week, give or take.
Happy birthday, big
Turned
guy.
40 and everything hurts. It's really true. But we had a company called Michigan Brew Tours come over
nailed
my
it.
house. If you want to check them out, mibrewtours.com. A man by the name of John Turnage owns this company. He's a certified Cicerone, which is a real thing. I did not know this. A certified Cicerone, which means he's basically like the equivalent of like how wine tasting has the sommelier. Beer has a Cicerone, and he brought over multiple beers for us to sample with him. So I had a group of eight people over my house, and we sampled the beers together. And as we were sampling the beers, he taught us about beer brewing and what makes each beer, and went through the details of that. And it was, okay.
That's a lot of information.
I do like craft beers, but ultimately at the end of the day, I'm fine with the Coors Light, right? Like I don't.
And he made fun of you.
And he did make fun of me. But not that Bud Light. I won't drink that garbage. No, shut up. I'll drink a Bud Light, even though it's water. I'm not going to cancel it though, based off other things. It was really interesting. I learned a lot. What about you guys?
I didn't know I was supposed to do homework.
I know, right?
I know. I was not prepared for that. And Bill just showing off.
I know.
My friend Bill came.
And you had the beer snout there, which is cool.
The beer, yep, exactly. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like the jelly bean test.
The jelly bean test was great.
That was pretty cool.
So go ahead and explain it.
Have you ever either of you ever done that?
No.
So he was explaining the way that flavor and smell, like taste and smell,
They work together.
Work together to, to provide the flavor and what you're actually tasting. And to do that, he gave us all a red jelly bean that you weren't supposed to open and smell, but somebody at the table opened and smelled it. Idiot.
Joe.
Dummy. It didn't smell like anything because it's a jelly bean. But you're supposed to plug your nose so that you can't smell it and put the jelly bean in your mouth and start to chew. And it sort of feels and tastes sugary. There's no real taste until you release your nose and the flavor kicks in. I think it was cherry, which was I don't know how it's such a basic thing. But I mean, as kids, weren't you ever taught like close your nose if you don't want to if you're going to taste something bad? Like just plug your nose and you won't taste it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I was never taught that.
I've always heard that. I never did it because maybe I wasn't plugging my nose correctly.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That's my thought too. Is like I've done that in the past with food, and I'm like, I don't really
Well,
notice.
the thing he was very adamant about was do not open the container until I tell you to, because you plug your nose before you really kind of get the container close so you can get an initial whiff of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's all about. Is I think like if you plug your nose after you put it in your mouth, you're already late.
Well, I'm here to tell you, as somebody may or may not have been the only person to open it prematurely.
How often does it happen to you prematurely?
Never. It never happens to me.
False.
It never happens.
Twice yesterday with me.
I heard. Well, John said that it happens to everybody, and I said that's very nice of you to say. I still feel bad for opening it early, but it didn't smell like anything. So
Okay.
I feel like I didn't spoil any of the experiment.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. And then we did it at the movie theater last week
With Skittles,
with Skittles.
and it worked.
And it worked again.
It worked again.
It worked again. But I really had a lot of fun with that brew tour. It was my wife's idea. It wasn't my idea at all. She was originally going to send us all top golfing, where we would go and hit the balls at targets for a couple hours.
Mhm.
But since I'm old and I have tennis elbow, she called an audible, and she did a really great job. She made food for it.
Her meatballs.
Oh my
Those
god!
were-
Her balls were delicious.
Those Hawaiian meatballs,
Man.
oh
They were
my God. I mean,
delicious.
everything. She made the ham
Sandwiches?
sandwich things.
Those are
and then-
good too.
And then the wonton pork things. That, those were good
I don't
as
think
well.
I got any of those.
Yeah, those were good.
I think Bill ate them all.
I think Bill did. And the cupcakes were good.
Cupcakes
too.
Yes,
were
yeah,
good.
yeah. Were.
I
Is
mean-
there any left? Did you guys bring any?
There was 3 left. We had them last night.
What?
Bunch
So,
of
We
whores.
finished them off.
Bullshit.
Yeah. It was fun though. I had a really good time, and it wasn't that long. I mean, I think he started at 7:30. He was done by like 9:30, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was nice. And then we were all old. We're like, I gotta go to bed now.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I'm exhausted.
I'm exhausted from drinking this beer. So it was good. I highly recommend it. Michigan Brew.
How many of the beers did you actually like?
I didn't really like a ton of them. Right.
Yeah. me either.
I like the New England IPA a lot.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember the other one. I can't remember the name.
Did you like the IPL, the India Pale Lager?
Yeah, it was okay. I'm kind of turning against bitter hoppy beers, but I still enjoyed it.
I'd say I liked about
the-
3 of the. There were
The
what,
darker
6?
one I liked.
I didn't really like that one.
Yeah.
I didn't like
The coffee tasting one.
That was good.
because that.
Yes, you did like that one. I remember.
And then there was a porter as well, right?
Yes, that was
I-
just called Porter.
And I didn't really care for that.
That one was
either.
from the UP, Muskegon, I think. Not Muskegon. Sorry,
Marquette.
Marquette. Yeah,
Mhm.
Muskegon, UP. No, not the same.
Get it right, Nick. Geography.
Gosh, nailed it. I
That's my bit.
know. So look him up, MichiganBrewTours.com, MIBrewTours.com. John is his name. Highly recommend. He does a couple different things. He can either take you on a tour around somewhere, right? He'll take you to Lansing or whatever, take you around breweries, or he'll come to your house or your backyard or wherever you want and bring the
My
beers,
dungeon.
To my garage.
bring the beers to you. And it was cool. He was a nice guy too. Good times.
Mention Nick's name to get hung up on.
Exactly. He's not going to want anything to do with us. But yeah, like for instance, I'm looking at his menu now. He has Beers of the World beer tasting at Dragon Mead, and on July 14th from 7 to 10. So you can go to that one or
No,
the
you
other
can't.
one.
No, you can't. It was yesterday.
Oh, I lied.
That's July 14th, 2024.
All these have already happened. Oh wait, no, Friday, August 11th. Here we go. Here's
There
one
you go.
coming up. $49 a person. This is one at. He's going to Detroit.
Oh, nice.
Les Bière Belgian Beer Tour. Wow, I don't even know
Nailed
what
it.
I said.
That's perfect.
I don't know
That's
what I
perfect
said.
English.
Brewery Fazan.
Or German or whatever it was.
Fazan. Whoa, he had one for that.
Yeah, Donald
Brewery-
Faison.
Yeah, down
Beer.
in Fazan, yeah.
Brewery Fazan. So he's having a tasting there on August 11th.
Nice.
So very cool.
Very cool.
It was a lot of fun.
Good.
Thank you for coming, boys.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
thank you for
inviting
inviting
I
us.
love you, boys.
I love you too, Nick.
I'm indifferent.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Despite literally everything I ever say to you, I love you.
Literally everything.
Hey, it's
too.
now out in the ethos, so the internet has it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty dark.
I love Nick Bonsky.
Yeah, you
Heart
do.
Forever.
Oh, friends forever. I don't know the rest of that song.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really does.
No.
Saved by the Bell.
I used to know.
I think we all used to know it. I think Saved by the Bell was a rite of passage for us back in the day.
Yes.
I mean, Kelly Kapowski did change my life.
I think it was over COVID, like over the like 2020. I did a full start to finish rewatch of it.
Was it in response to the Saved by the Bell second series, or didn't a new one come out on NBC?
Yeah, they did
Or
a
Peacock
reboot of it.
Actually,
On the cock?
it was before that was announced.
Okay.
Or before I learned of it. Like I was in the middle of my rewatch, and then I started seeing. Like I saw the announcement. And I'm like,
Was it called Saved by the Bell on the cock?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
still called Saved by the Bell.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't a serious tone like.
We met some time ago when we were so young. We've been through thick and thin. We've lost. We've tied. We've won. Friends forever. With you everywhere. Friends forever.
I love these lyrics.
Always will be friends. If you're down, I'll pick you up. I'll never let you fall.
This should be our new theme song.
If you ever need someone, I'm waiting for your call. Oh my gosh, they're so bad. They're so good.
He's getting emotional over there.
Oh, okay. We'll be friends forever. Through it all, hanging tough. We'll stay side by side. We'll be friends forever till the end of time.
Or until Zach gets an ego.
Yeah,
And
gets
splits the
too
band
big
up,
and splits
the
the band
dick.
up. Jerk.
Tries to
Zach.
makes out with Lisa. Isn't that the episode he kisses Lisa in front of
Screech?
Screech?
I don't know.
Zach is such a jerk.
Zach Morris is trash.
Anything else, gentlemen?
We're about to go to Battlestar Galactica. Mm-hmm. Just a quick plug. Battlestar Galactica went off the cock, right?
Yes, it did.
So
How did we watch it?
So we kind of came into a conundrum, right? What do we do? Do we want to really pay $2-3 for every single episode to watch this thing? But we actually had someone come through and help us out. A place called Video Exclusive in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. Came through and got Dick already had the sets, but came through and got Joe and I sets each, so we can now watch them on DVD. So I want to give a little plug out to Video Exclusive for the help out. I don't know if they have a website in Dearborn Heights.
Yeah, I was going to ask if they have a web presence.
They used to have an eBay store, but I don't know if they do anymore. But if you're in Michigan, check them out. It's one of the only video stores out there still.
It is.
And they have 4Ks. They have all of that. So it's worth checking out.
They have a lot of TV series.
They have a
too.
ton of TV series. And family owned. It's been around forever. So if they have I guess I could research that a little bit more before I did this. But check them out if they have a web presence too, man.
They do not have a web presence, but that's okay. They've been interviewed actually by Michigan Radio. Interviewed them.
Yep.
Yeah, they've been open for 30 years.
For a long
30 years.
time. So
Yeah,
I'm always, as people in this room know, I'm a big supporter of small business.
they're on Telegraph Road right now. Get a good deal.
No one gets that reference that listens to the show.
Telegraph
Get a good
Road right
deal.
now. Get a good deal.
No one understands except for the
That's
people in this
okay.
room.
That's okay. No, some
Ray-
people online will.
That might be
some people who've listened.
That might be the most niche local reference this show's
Yeah.
ever made.
Yeah. Ray Whitfield?
I don't know.
Ray. Oh, man, it's going to bug me now. Is Ray something? I'm sure of it.
Well, folks, I come through for you.
Ray Whitfield Ford, South Telegraph
Nailed it.
Taylor, and Alan Ford,
Actually
North
nailed it.
Telegraph in Bloomfield Hills sell so many top quality used cars. Well, one reason is for over 30 years,
My gosh,
people
these
buying
cars look
their
so
first
old.
car know that here you get a doggone
Get the
good
song.
deal.
Here, dog. Come on, dog.
Ian Dog
Want you to go to Telegraph Road
right now.
Oh, get a good deal.
Alan
The
Ford, Bloomfield
banjo
Hills, Ray Whitfield,
sells
South
it.
Taylor, with a great used car.
Oh my gosh.
Nostalgia. That's
Man,
like
that's
that
like-
is a heroin spike of nostalgia right there.
Yeah, for people in this room, it's just a car dealership that was in the 80s. 90s, too.
Yeah, 90s too.
Yeah, but they had that jingle, and it was just, it was an earworm.
You
It
couldn't
was.
get away from it either.
No, you couldn't.
That was the day when you had good ear jingles. You don't really
Yeah.
have those anymore. That's okay.
1-800 300 Empire.
1-800-2-300.
Is that local or is that?
I don't know if that's local.
Empire, call today.
I don't think that's
Save big money at Menards.
Oh, what about
Menards?
father and sons?
Where
no
father and son will get
no
it
jobs
done.
too big. No
No
jobs too small.
We're father and son.
We'll
Give us
do it all.
give us a call, right?
No, I think
we'll
it was
do
both.
it all.
I think it was both.
I think yeah.
But that's another local one, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I think father and son was not just local. I think.
I remember father and son on watching like reruns of like A-Team and Dukes of Hazzard and stuff like that.
all the syndicated stuff.
Yeah.
No job's too big.
No jobs too small.
We're father and son. We'll do it all.
Need roofing, siding, garage, or a porch?
Yeah.
You'll be amazed.
I wonder
and
if they're still
delighted
around.
by our low prices.
I feel like I heard this commercial
From
not too-
Chicago.
Oh, really?
Really?
Father and son. Give us a
See, I told you it was both.
Oh,
It's both.
For a free estimate.
There you go. Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah. That should be a Patreon. Let's come up with all nostalgia stuff.
Well, this is a little taste of Patreon.
Yeah, it's a lot of randomness.
Yeah.
Father and Son Construction is still around, but let me tell you something. They get 2.7 stars out of 5 on Google reviews.
Dang.
So you do not want to use them.
Don't give them a
Yeah,
call.
don't call us.
And it's all
Do
it's all recent low stars. So it's like maybe they were bought out.
I think the Suns took over.
Is it now just sons and sons?
We
Our
suck,
dad is
we
dead.
suck some balls.
Like literally, if I go back to the review most relevant newest, let me go back to newest. All the newest reviews are 1 stars. All the newest reviews.
Do they say they don't do it all?
One person put in here. They said no job too big or too small. They determined my job was too small and wouldn't do it. Oh, let's go. All right, moving on from commercials. Let's go on to A Day in the Life from Battlestar Galactica. So, A Day in the Life.
Another Beatles reference.
Yes, it is. It's been a month since the fleet last encountered the Cylons. It's been a really long time. A really, really long time. And because of that, they're getting a little lazy. So Lee chews out his Viper pilot, says, hey, it only takes one day. That's all it takes, folks. So don't lose track of your job. Meanwhile, they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with Baltar's case. And Rosalind's like, you know what? Who I want to represent Baltar? I want Lee Adama. Or wait, as the prosecution. She wants him as the prosecution against Lee Adama. I want him to prosecute because he's someone who believes what is right and wrong. He's someone who knows his stuff. And Lee's like, I don't know. My grandpa did it, but I don't want to do it. And they're like, well, you're qualified.
My granddaddy.
My granddaddy was an attorney.
He worked at Ray Whitfield Ford.
He was a good man.
Give us a call.
Give us a call. So he doesn't know if he wants to do it. But Adama at the end of the episode delivers him a bunch of law books and says, hey, you know, for when you have the time.
Get reading, bitch.
Get reading, bitch. So you're gonna be part of this trial. Meanwhile, Adama's celebrating, or maybe not celebrating, but drinking to the anniversary of his wife, even though they're divorced. Every year he brings out her picture.
And she dead.
And she dead.
She gone.
And she was not a good person either. Their relationship was super volatile. They fought a lot. They didn't get along, but he loved her. And so he drinks every year to her. And as he's drinking, he has memories of her basically talking down to him, treating him like garbage. But
he was into it.
And he romanticizes it. And Lee's like, you know what? She was kind of evil. And he's like, I will not have you bad talking her. I loved her.
That was your mother.
That was your mother. Wow.
That's Ryan Gosling. You do not talk about him
How
like that.
dare you?
Sucks.
Kelly and Chief not getting along. They fight all the time. Their marriage is miserable. Their kid's always crying.
Not a lot of great marriages on this show.
Not a lot of great. I mean, it's almost like, you know, when you're running for your life and you're working 18 hours a day, marriage is not possible.
If you have a voice like Kelly's.
Oh my gosh, it's going to do it to you. Plus, she's constantly asking him to join a sex cult. And it's like,
oh, she was the.
Yeah, she's the sex cult person. So, meanwhile, all this is going on. They're going to fix an issue, and they get locked into. Basically, they get sealed into a dock that's leaking air, and they're basically going to die because of it. And Chief admits that he wants her by his side because, you know, they don't get to spend a lot of time together where they're not miserable. And frankly, I think without their child, I think that's like a subcontext to that. Like,
I think if we can all learn a lesson here, it's don't have kids.
So they're dealing with all that issue as the ship is, venting air. Adama comes in and they're like, hey, when we die, give our kids to a family that's not involved in the military because I don't want our kids stuck in this life. And Adama's like, sure, I'll do it, blah, blah, blah. So it grows critical. They finally decide that they're going to blow the airlock and a Raptor pilot's going to be outside and is going to catch them in the Raptor and then deliver them to sick bay, the hyperbaric chambers. So they do that. They get them out of there, but they're in bad shape. They go into the sick bay. Cottle takes care of them. Kelly's recovering. Celix brings their kid to see Galen, and Galen takes this kid to see her, and he basically promises to do better. At the end of the episode, Adama is flirting nonstop with Rosalind.
Yeah, he is.
He's like, I want to go to Pound Town with
like,
you,
yo, baby,
and not in the way that
baby.
the chief did with Callie, but yes, in the way that the chief did with Callie. So he's like flirting with her big time.
Shoot your shot.
Yo, baby.
Yeah. But basically he's like, hey, if things would have been okay, could we have made this work? And she's like, yeah, we could have. And he's like, but we're both leaders and we can't. And she's like, but we can't. Wink, wink, poke, poke.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah,
No,
poke.
not
Basically,
literally
like,
poke.
would you have built that cabin and banged me forever?
Exactly.
She's like, hell yeah, I would have.
But basically, as Adama leaves, Rosalind says she would have built that cabin. So in other words, let's do it. I'm interested in you. You're interested in me.
She's
Welcome to Pound Town. Population 2.
She's like, there's term limits.
Yeah. So ends this episode. I will say I do love those two together.
Yeah,
though.
me too.
And I love they have a little music for them, the Adama and Rosalind theme song.
I don't think I've never noticed that.
Let me pull it up in the meantime.
I'm disappointed in myself that I've never noticed that.
Once you hear it, you'll recognize it. But let me get it pulled up, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But start talking about the episode while I'm doing this, gentlemen.
I don't know where to start, to be honest with you.
You think Rosalind's good in bed?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think she's probably a freak.
I don't know about a freak, but I think she knows what she wants. I think
she's
she
got
knows
good
what
technique, can execute well.
She's a teacher by nature.
Yeah.
She is a teacher. She is. She would help him out. This is their little theme. It's like a little violin.
I can't believe I haven't noticed that.
And I think this is supposed to be Adama's, and then her theme comes in there.
Just play us the whole episode. It's really low.
The whole episode as we talk.
Yeah.
Big fracking deal. That's actually all the audio from them.
Yeah.
Let me. So it's kind of a moving, sweeping thing.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Batman Begins music in some sense.
Not Batman Begins.
Mm-mm.
Trying to think. Well, I see what you're saying. Like at the end where he's
the sweeping.
Yeah. Because it's like when he's
when the mansion burns down and
yeah.
That
movie's so good.
Oh, it is. So, anyways, that is one of my favorite pieces from Battlestar Galactica. I love that piece. It's very moving when you listen to it in whole and like with their relationship and factoring how their relationship goes throughout the series. It's great.
How many podcasts talk about scores as much as we do?
I'm sure there's podcasts just about movie scores, so I would say there are some.
I want to find that. I'm going to Google search that later.
And try to be a guest on their show.
Yeah.
Like you're actively seeking to be a guest on them instead of them seeking you out.
I have a podcast idea. I have a name for it if we ever start it.
Okay.
What's the score?
Oh, my God. I love it.
I want to score with you. Let's score together.
I think his is the best still.
I know. It is. It's good. It's good.
I'm going to start a consulting firm, like a podcast naming consultant. That's what I want to do. That'd be my dream job.
That would be a fun job. All right. So let's start with talking about Adama and Rosalind's relationship.
Can we start with the B story first?
B story is
Callie and
would
Chief?
you consider that the B? I would almost in a way. Well, actually, no, because it starts off with them fighting, doesn't it?
I don't know, but can we start with that one?
Yeah, let's start with that.
Because I think the other story is more endearing.
Okay, yeah, because Kelly and Chief together are not a good relationship.
They're kind of Keiko and O'Brien right now to me.
That's a good way of
They really
describing it.
Yeah, it's just like she gnaws on you. I don't know if the writers are doing it on purpose or if it's just kind of like a trap they fell into. But between like her voice alone gnaws at me, but then she's just kind of picking and picking.
Is this
picking.
reflective of the fact that primarily in the DS9 days and BSG days, most of the writers were men, so they're
Probably.
writing relationships from their angle, so the wife comes across as a shrew.
Well, they're probably
which is so unfair, but I mean that's
there could have been a writer in the room that's experienced that right now, and then they accidentally.
They're
honestly,
writing in their.
Yeah,
their relational troubles that they're having.
and
And
they're, they're trying to create drama, so I get it. I do get it, but I don't like it.
In some sense, it kind of comes out of nowhere, right? Because they've slowly been building up. Well, not slowly. Comes out of nowhere. They've slowly been building up to. It was only a couple episodes that all of a sudden the chief is like, "Yeah, we're not getting along. We're fighting all the time."
Yeah, and they were. And yet they were finding Caprica, or Caprica, new Caprica.
They were happy. Well, and I guess, but you know what? That's kind of the truth with a lot of people. Like they found happiness because they were.
They kind of get into that a little bit in the next episode.
Yeah, they do.
They do. They talk about they do
Because he had something he
had a calling.
He had a calling.
A purpose.
Which I said back that that was a great.
That was a good chief. I like that chief, right?
But
it's the beard.
I agree. I think, but
Hey, puppy.
I said it in somewhat in jest, but there really aren't any good marriages on this show right now.
Or even relationships.
Well, Bill and Rosalind have a good relationship.
But it's not really a relationship yet. I think
you're speaking in like an intimate or romantic relationship.
I think overall, Hilo and
Hilo and Athena.
I think they're not
good.
bad. I think
Are they married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that.
Where are they?
I think they're married.
Okay.
Yeah, because in the time jump is when.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
they're pretty good. They fight.
okay.
But that's healthy.
That's realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does stick up for her.
Yeah, he does. And he basically calls her out. Like, what was it in the one episode where he's like, you act like you're the only one who has it hard because you're the Cylon on the ship.
But now I'm just thinking about this out loud. He's the only one that actually got to kill his wife.
That is just therapeutic.
So is there a connection? He is the only one that actually got to shoot her.
I mean, this could be a problematic way of thinking about things, with the world we live in. Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
But are you?
Yes.
Okay. We'll save it for Patreon.
6 months ago, would he have been joking?
I'm always joking. I'm never serious.
He would have been more joking then. Got you.
Yeah, he's got your back.
I'm always joking.
I know.
I'm never serious.
I'm sure there are many wives who have wanted to kill their husbands.
Absolutely.
There are many wives who have killed their husbands.
I'm 100% positive there's like once a day where my wife wants to kill me.
Are there more husbands who have killed their wives or wives who've killed their husbands?
I would think it's more husbands killed wives.
I would say it's pretty equal, but wives are more cunning about it. So they're like, oh no, they had a heart attack when really it was poisoning or something like that.
Can I be sarcastic
We're
with it for a
men.
moment?
Yeah.
Women have more of the long game with it where they kill you over time.
Yes.
Okay.
Sarcasm done.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think like men just are more crimes of passion. So they go out and boom, shoot her and don't think through the consequences.
those are
Women
crimes of
plot and
idiocy.
plan. Well, yeah, but crimes of passion in the sense like they let their emotions control their
impulsion.
Where women would be like, you know what, I got to think this through. I got to be smart about this because I can't get caught, and I got to. I'll find a way. Except for that one woman who drove down to Florida in a diaper to kill the one lady.
Oh,
remember
yeah, I
the
remember
NASA
that.
woman?
I remember that.
About
That's
the lover?
commitment. That was probably like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was a big story. You
I don't
remember
remember that.
Because she
No?
was a NASA test pilot or something. So
Yeah.
she's like, I can't risk being caught, so I can't stop anywhere. I need to just keep on driving. So she had gas cans in the back to drive all the way through. And then she just wore a diaper so she wouldn't stop. And just to go murder someone and then come back. So they'd be like, they'll never suspect me because they have no proof that I ever left the state.
That's dedication.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
She didn't
that's
get
a lot
away
of-
with it, though.
That's a
No,
lot of.
she did not get away with it.
Obviously,
So
she didn't.
there's a major flaw in that plan.
Yeah. So, going back to these two, we know they're not the best relationship. And also, it's never a good idea to work with your spouse.
I agree.
No.
This is not a good idea, especially when you're dealing with whole, this isn't like Star Trek, where you have hull breaches where they put up a force field. They literally take a piece of metal and weld it onto there, and it's...
Well, yeah, they shouldn't be working together.
Yeah.
She should be assigned to a different area,
Yeah.
and she should not report to him, and he should. No, it's just you need time apart, man.
Yeah.
You need a time apart to have a good relationship.
Yeah, you really do. One of the things that I appreciate about this episode, and again throughout the series, and I've talked about this, my issue with Star Trek Voyager was the ship was always perfect, right? They'd get their butts kicked.
Yeah, the last couple episodes, you've really been seeing the wear and tear on
you
the
see it
Galactica.
on the ship. Like when they go out, you see the scorch marks, you see the holes, you see the dents, you see all these issues with it. And I really appreciate that. It
Agreed.
shows the desperation, and I really love it.
There's no space dock to refit.
Yeah, to refit this thing or fix it up or go out and paint it or whatever.
There's not a guy on the outside welding constantly. Man. You there?
I just want to reiterate that I was joking.
Of course.
Everyone knows you're
Yeah,
joking.
everyone knows you're joking, man.
Joe's like, do we need to edit this episode?
Well,
We don't edit. That's
I just want to reiterate that I was joking.
we
It
know
was a
that.
joke.
I can tell it was really bugging. Just
It was
watching
bugging me. I'm
Yes.
like, man.
It was an absolute joke. There's no seriousness.
half the
to
shit
it
we
at all.
say on the show is
Well, I
made in
know,
jest.
but I don't usually joke about murdering a spouse.
Nor probably should you.
No, I probably shouldn't have made the joke. I do regret making the joke. I do think it was funny,
I am sorry, but I have no regrets.
No, I'm with you.
but I
People take things
I
very
know.
seriously.
They do,
now,
and
yeah.
I just want to.
But I think
reiterate
people
that I was
realize we
joking.
are a joking podcast. We've established that. If we do say problematic things, you can call us out, and we'll
734-494-0980.
But I'm calling myself out in real time.
We will do
it was
some-
not.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah.
But I will say, I think it is funny. I just don't think it's appropriate.
See, like you and I
think it's
and
an-
Nick to a certain extent are the people that think nothing's offline to make fun of.
Yeah, that's
even though-
that's a joke that I would make the three of us. That's probably not a joke that I would want to make on our show.
Yeah, and the beauty of that is we know you're not serious about it, but we joke about things that are taboo sometimes.
Yeah.
But let's be real. If you have ever been married, there have been times where you're like, I want to strangle this person.
Yeah, it's just marriage. It's
Right,
just,
and
it's,
that's
it's
any
not even
relationship.
any relationship.
Yeah,
It's any
no.
long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Friends, you
Yeah.
get that way. Like,
And
I love
that's-
this
that's
person, but I could
that's
kill
the
them
part
right
that I
now.
was joking about.
Yeah, that's
But
it tracks, Joe. You're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
go on.
Anybody
I-
who's listened for this more than one episode knows our
I know.
rhetoric.
I don't
I
even
know.
think that's the first time you've made that joke. To
I
be
don't-
honest with
yeah.
you.
Even 2 years
No,
ago.
when we watched the episode, I think I made a joke like. I don't remember the joke, but I'm pretty sure I made a joke like he's living the life, or like something like
yeah. Oh yeah, when
who
he shoots
hasn't-
Athena,
he's like, I'm like, who?
who hasn't dreamed
Look
of
at him.
it? Yeah,
He's living the dream.
yeah, exactly. It's okay. So, and now that we've moved past that, please
Yes.
don't kill Joe, folks.
a
Jokingly
sweetheart.
kill him.
yeah, by all means,
Jokingly,
call us and,
never seriously.
and tell us the different ways you want to kill Joe.
Yes, please do.
Would you like to shoot him the way
Or
Carl shot Athena?
Or if you want to, call in and tell us which joke of mine you think is funniest.
There you go.
Wow, some self-serving there, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to be told I'm funny.
So back to
You're a needy bitch, aren't you?
back to the B story.
One thing, I just want to be funny.
Back to the B story. So they blow him out the hatch and they catch him in the Raptor. I like that scene. And I like how that scene didn't have anything go wrong. Sometimes, a lot of the times, they're like, oh no, something happened, and now we got to go swoop out and catch them further out in space. I appreciate how they blew him right into the Raptor.
Hey, the Stephen Curry of Raptors, man. I was
Yeah.
like, all right,
All right, good. Swoosh.
leave that hand in there.
Kobe.
Kobe, they caught him.
No, they didn't crash.
Oh.
And then they put him in the bariatric chamber. So
Speaking of things to joke about that you probably shouldn't,
yeah, I mean, that was not too soon anymore. It's over a year. It's
I
like 2 years, 3 years, give or take.
It's over 3 years.
Was
I
that
think it
before pandemic?
I think that was pre-pandemic.
wasn't that during the pandemic? Like
I think it was
right
no. I think
post-
it was like January of 20.
Really?
Yeah. All right, so we got that happening. That happens. We're not really invested in Kaylee and the Chief, though. Like,
No.
that's not a relationship. You know, I could see...
January 26th, 2020.
Wow.
Think about how cool that story would have been if that's Adama and Roslyn in that airlock, and they're having the conversation that they had earlier about, would we have made this happen? I think that would have been emotionally invest.
Agreed.
Like, make that your A story, then turn around and make Chief and Kaylee. You can make them the backstory about them fighting all the time. Make them the B story.
I'm
I
done
like-
with that
don't think they
story.
No,
I don't love it.
I don't.
I like the fact that I like the fact that Rosalind and Adama are having this conversation, not in a situation where their lives are at stake.
Yeah.
So it's more like I want to say this, but it's I'm only saying this because my life is at stake.
I'm saying this because I really want you to know.
But they're actually genuinely having a conversation, a back and forth in real life.
Yeah, that's a good point. It makes it more meaningful, I guess, in some way.
It does make their relationship more meaningful that they're actually having forced. That it wasn't forced situationally.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yep. What
did you think about Adama's flashbacks to his wife?
Did not like him.
I
didn't care for it.
I didn't dig the way they did that. I didn't dig the cinematography of it. I didn't dig the voice. Part of it is I did not think that she was a great actress for that part.
No, I agree. I think that she there was lacking there.
Yeah, there's something not great there. Her name was Lucinda Jenny. I don't know what else she's done.
I just didn't find myself all that invested in that.
No, not at all. I agree.
That wasn't the part I cared about, right? I cared more about the relationship with Rosalind. I appreciate how this is Adama romanticizing things.
Well, the part I appreciated is that he was romanticizing it, right? But not even so much that. It's at the end where Lee was like, she wasn't all that you're making her cracked up to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's actually what I appreciate is Lee stepping in there and going, yeah, you might have been gone and doing this, and you left us with her because you thought it was better, but dude, not so much.
Well, and it's almost a way of Lee saying you're absolved of any guilt in that relationship, because Adama's holding on to this, I left her and I left you guys over my career. And it's like, you left her because she was a nutbag, man.
Yeah.
But you left us with her, which is a problem.
Right.
But she was not what you thought she was.
Yeah.
Part of my issue with it is, forgive me, but is this the first time we've really been introduced to the wife and the relationship?
Yes. We've seen her picture.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten any sort of glimpse into their relationship or anything.
No.
So it's a one episode. You're supposed to get invested in this story over the course of a 40-minute episode.
And it's impossible.
Where I'm trying to draw the comparison to Cisco and losing his wife. We see that from the beginning, and it's sprinkled in here and there over the course of the show.
Right.
So you're getting little glimpses, or you're getting fed this.
Well, it's also a little different because that grief in Emissary was, they established that right off the bat.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is we're now into deep into season 3, and they really never mentioned the wife or even the mom.
They've mentioned her.
They've mentioned her, but nothing
major.
Nothing major. In passing at best.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you're right.
it's hard for me to get real invested in. No, I agree. I did like Lee saying that's not the way that, that's not the way I experienced it.
Yeah.
Which is, everybody experiences. That was Bill's wife, and that's Lee's mom.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a completely different experience.
Yep, it's true.
And it happens.
Yeah.
A parent taking out their frustrations on other aspects of their life on their kids, and that's what happened to the Adama boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think that's about it for me for this episode.
Yep, we can move on to Dirty Hands. You ready to move on to Dirty Hands?
Yeah, I thought of the yeah.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I thought that was Dirty Hands is the significantly better of the 2 episodes. So
I agree. I think there's a better story here, a better conversation here.
There is. I also really love when they explore this part of the chief.
Okay.
Oh, I love when they explore this part of their society. So Dirty Hands, there's a engine failure that occurs, and a Raptor collides with Colonial One, almost killing the president and Tory. Basically, it's revealed that the Trillium fuel is impure, and they're having issues with it. So they bring in the director of the fleet's refinery, and he's like, look, what do you expect of us? Like, we are working long days, and I don't see any of you all working, right? Like, you're constantly ignoring us for help. You only need us when things go wrong. And later he quotes something from a book of Baltar. If you hear the people, you never have to fear the people and threatens a few more glitches. And she has him arrested when she realizes that Baltar's book is being read, because Baltar is smuggling information out of his jail cell to the people, and they're starting to read it, talking about this class situation arising where there you have the aristocratic class of the Capricorns versus people like the Geminons and the Sagittarians and all these other people. So they hire the chief, or not. Adama orders the chief to go over there and get things back to normal. And at first, when he gets on the ship, they're all excited to see him because they're like, "Here's our union president. He's going to come and we're going to go on strike and he's going to fix everything." But the chief is like, "We're not a new Caprica anymore. We can't do that. Can't be that way." So at first, he tries to get everything back to normal. And again, more people get jailed because they hide some seals, self-sealing stem bolts. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. And basically, it's a guy who was tortured by the Cylons, and he sees this guy sitting in a jail cell, like freaking out because the last time he was in a jail cell was with the Cylons. And he gives him the location of it, but again, this is getting to Hilo more and more. So Chief. Sorry, I do that all the time. So he goes to the president and says, "You got to fix this, lady. This is nuts. These people, like, they're basically inheriting jobs. That's unfair. That's not cool." So she's like, "Yeah, you're right. So let's get a list of people who've done these professions and send them to work instead." And he's like, "Okay, that's a little bit better." And it's a young, and then as they're getting these new people, he notices a young kid who's like, it says here you were a farmer. And he's like, "I worked a farmer for like a week." And they're like, "Sorry, you're a farmer." And
Farmer intern.
He's like, "Unfair. It's not fair. It's not fair." But they send him anyway. So he goes there. And they're putting this kid to work, and as he's on the ship working with them, there's an issue, and he can't reach it, so they bring in this young farmer kid that he dealt with before to fix it, and he fixes it, but when he does, he gets severely injured, really bad. He's bleeding blood everywhere, and the chief sees it, and finally, enough is enough. They go on strike. He's like, We strike, baby. We're on strike. Have you heard the people singing the song of angry men? It's Les Miserables, man. Things get rough. Not really. So they go on strike. The chief is thrown in jail, and Adama comes in and is basically like, "I will kill you. I will kill all your people to protect this fleet. I will airlock all of you guys because
that's the scene
if one person starts questioning my orders, everyone's going to question my orders." So we'll get into it. Let me finish the wrap up. So chief calls off the strike, but Adama then says, "Okay, go talk to the president. Go negotiate." So he goes and negotiates with the president, and they basically agree they're going to change some things up. They're going to alter things so it's not people being born into a job. They can work their way out of it. And people like the Capricorns are now going to start doing busy work because there's a lot of lawyers who aren't really lawyering anymore who need to do some work. So they're going to do some work.
We're going to need those lawyers soon, though.
Yeah.
All of them.
Meanwhile, Starbuck arrives and demands to know why Celix, who before had been denied a chance to go into flight school, why Celix is 20 minutes late for her first day as a pilot. And Celix is confused, but finally they show that Celix has been promoted to ensign and assigned to flight training. So they all salute Celix, and she's yelled at and says, "Get to work, get to work."
I thought that was a cute scene.
And Starbuck smiles and tells the Nugget to double time it to debriefing. The end. Okay, so
give me that dirty look again here in a second.
So there's no A or B story here. There's just the A story. Maybe there's like a D story with Celix, but that's about it. But basically, we're dealing with the chief dealing with some issues with the ships. Again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. I appreciate these 4 episodes because the Cylons aren't the threat to them. They're their own threat. Like, they're a society that's falling apart, and they're falling into these traps. Like, we saw the episodes with the Sagittarians. Sagittarians or Sagittarians? I don't know what they're. Sagittarians, being treated differently. And now you have, you're minors. You got to work 18 hours to deal with it, as the president sits in Colonial 1 and doesn't do any hard labor. Or very similar to that episode a while ago on the one ship where there was like the bartenders and everything working at the hotel. Like, but they're just Zarek talked about it, right? Like, what is happening right now? Like, we're basically becoming, what do they call that? A meritocracy. Yeah. We're losing track of who we are as a people, and you're born into a job and you're stuck with it. And it's right. It's happening. And
but here's my issue.
Okay.
These people are starting to believe Baltar of all people.
Yeah.
They're reading his material.
When you are desperate, you would turn for desperate measures.
Man, I don't know. Baltar.
Think about
Baltar.
it. Think about it this way. Look in the United States right now. How many people in our country
Or
are
Hitler.
like, no. How many people in our country are like, well, Putin isn't doing a bad thing. Ukraine's really evil, not Putin.
That's fair.
Right?
But
so the Baltar, is Baltar really bad, or was it what Adama and Rosalind did to him was really bad? Like, it's the same kind of
I don't know,
idea.
it still makes me so irate. Like
I hate Baltar.
Like Callie of all people.
Oh no!
In the scenario,
she joined a sex cult in real life.
In real life, but after experiencing everything there, and after Chief has dealt directly with Baltar, she's automatically on his side. Come on!
But Baltar's not saying anything that's not wrong. If you hear
he
the
is
people,
spinning it to his favor.
Is he though?
Yeah, he's trying to gain favor.
Yes.
You think?
Yeah, 100%. He doesn't believe any of this. He's
No.
just, he knows he can manipulate people to get him on his side, so that's why he's spending his rhetoric.
I mean, maybe.
He'll believe anything he says too. He believes himself. He is the George Costanza of this show. It's not a lie. Remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Baltar is starting a cult, and you're balls deep in it.
You are.
No, I'm not.
Callie.
I'm never buying into Baltar's cult. I'm never going there because it's self-serving.
You sing the praises of that man on this show.
No, I don't sing the praises. I say he's got issues, but I also I don't think it's as evil as him.
This is
as clear as him being totally evil.
This is gaslighting.
No, it's not.
You telling me it's not is also gaslighting.
You don't know what you're talking about. That's not what I said. That's gaslighting.
But it's easy for him to do all this now. But where was this self-importance? Or where was this when he was president?
He's got a lot of time to think. He's in prison, man.
No. Bullshit.
You don't think prison can rehabilitate you and being in jail can rehabilitate
Not Baltar. I think it can some people, but I think this is all manipulation on his part.
I agree.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, you know because you've watched the series, but...
Can I also say that I don't... How do I want to say this? I've already fucked up today.
He's not serious, guys.
No, I'm just kidding. But I don't necessarily... I think that if the conditions were improved, I think the workers would be less upset that they were, quote-unquote, stuck in their jobs.
Oh, for sure. Obviously,
the conditions are terrible for them.
So I think if they improve the conditions and give them a little bit of...
A break,
some time off, some relief, maybe rotate some shifts... I maybe, show that in some way or another that their job is important.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing is important.
Obviously.
It is grunt work. It is grueling work that not everybody can or wants to do.
Yeah.
But as you see, they need that. What is it called? Trillium? Trillium. It's needed. So their job is important. It is vital to the survival of the fleet.
Yeah.
I don't think they're getting that message, obviously. So if you can change the message, make them feel a little better.
And it could be simple awareness.
Yeah. And provide some better conditions. I think you wouldn't have such an uprising of people saying, "Oh, I don't want to do this job," and I think that's where I would go if I were the chief, or if I were.
And they start to go that towards the end of the episode, but that day.
It was like what we don't want to do. I don't necessarily like the idea of like rotating other people just because they're doing a different job. Like taking people that don't have an aptitude for that.
Oh, like another farmer and being like, well, since you used heavy machinery, you can do this exact job.
Yeah, I'm not about that type of rotation, but have a crew and rotate within your crew.
But I think that's the problem is they're rotating in the crew and they're still working 18-hour shifts because, like, let's say you're only pulling from 100 people and you need 100 people to run the machines, right? But now what the chief is saying is we need a pool of 500 people to pull from, not 100.
Okay,
and I get that.
You got to set up some sort of training program. You got to set something up to not just to randomly grab kids that are farming interns,
right,
and
then
throw
put them
throw them in there, and he gets his arm almost cut in half.
But I think that's how it ends, right? They say they're going to create a program where people are trained. And And there's a lot of truth that, like, you think about it, how many people on there have skills that are never ever going to be used again right now that they're on the run? Like, how many people are lawyers? How many lawyers do you really need now? Like, you don't really need any lawyers.
I want all of them to prosecute Voltar.
Or do you
Every
need,
one of
We
them.
are going to need them all.
do you really need news? Do you really need media teams? Do you really need this stuff? Right now we're talking about survival.
I think you do. If you start getting rid of these things, you
lose your civilization.
you're gonna start to lose a
I
lot
almost
more
think
than
that news is needed.
Okay.
Not needed, but it would be nice to have in that scenario, whether it be fluff or whatever, as long as it's not spun like our current news.
right.
Yeah.
Something to continue to provide a little bit of normalcy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Otherwise, what the hell's the point? If you're getting rid of all of the escapes,
But don't you have to, like, triage right now? Like, you're right. You need that stuff for a
But you
civilization.
need some escapism.
But you need to triage. What is the most important needs right now? Okay, well, if we don't have Tillium, we can't run from the Cylons, which means we die, which means we can't make any movies.
Yeah, what if these can't?
or media?
but the Tillium is there's a shortage, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But it's
I'm sorry.
I was thinking it's the shortage is because they're upset, right?
That's what I was thinking too. That
No,
at the
I
end
don't-
they implied that.
They've slowed down their production of it
Yeah.
because they're tired and they're exhausted. And
Yeah.
they
So
need
if you
their
can
attention.
if you can give them a little bit more, they'll
Right.
ramp up the production, which maybe they won't need to work the super long hours.
But I think
every
the
day.
problem was initially they're like, we're not budging at all, right?
Well,
Like,
yeah, because like, what if the Cylons attacked right then and there?
they would have one jump in them and that was it.
Yeah,
Right.
And
That's what they said. They had enough for one jump, which is probably a smart move on the Tillium refineries. They made sure there was enough for a jump, and that was it. That's kind of a cool move. Like, I'm not going to put the fleet in danger, immediate danger, but in the long term, they will be.
Well, I think when they were talking to the chief on the deck, they said services needed. They're not working on anything unless it was absolutely needed.
Right.
So that made me feel a lot better about the situation, because if it was very closed-minded, I mean, if the Cylons were to attack,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oof,
Yeah.
oof, very short-sighted.
Bad news. Bad
Yeah.
news.
Well, I love the fact how things are still getting worse for these people, and they haven't seen a Cylon in nearly 2 months, and things are still falling apart for them. So they blamed the Cylons a lot, but
Well, they blame
they
the Cylons.
clearly don't know what they're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're on the run. I mean, this is a whole lifestyle change, and how many years would it take for you to adapt to this lifestyle change? A while.
Yeah.
And they've only been at it for, well, I guess the lifestyle change happened again after they left New Caprica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I say pizza party. That always.
Oh my
works.
gosh, yeah. I know your hours have been long. I know we couldn't give you a raise this year, but there's pizza in the break room.
But we spent $200 on hot and readies.
And they're so proud of themselves.
What if
when
they
do
brought
that.
in something better? Like they're like, here's some jets.
No, still not.
Yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
Jets every day. Give me jets every single Friday for a year, and maybe we'll talk.
And Wednesday.
And Thursday.
And Monday.
Just for
and
good
Monday.
measure, you should do
Like,
Monday
all
too.
you really do is
actually.
bring some Mission Barbecue for me, and I'd be
Oh,
like, I'm in.
Yep.
Sign me up. Bring me there.
Tuesdays are for tacos. Taco Tuesday.
That's a good point.
If they bought them lunch,
What about like a pizza taco? Like, you know, those pizzas where they have like taco toppings on them?
No thanks.
what?
You've never heard of those?
No,
They're a thing.
Yeah, they're
no, they
thing.
shouldn't be.
Agreed.
Beef, red peppers,
Lettuce,
Onions?
Huh? No,
a BLT pizza. Have you ever had a BLT pizza?
no,
So good.
no.
Oh.
Stop.
Yes.
Stop it.
No.
I will not have you speak.
Try it.
No.
Try it and then shut your mouth and eat it.
That's like the Ryan Gosling of pizza.
You're the
Oh
right
my
guy.
God. What?
All right.
I'm sorry. I made the joke like a half hour ago, and I'm still being punished for it now. Why?
So does the galactic do they deserve to survive as a civilization with
No.
the way they're treating each other? And they don't even realize it.
Sometimes you have to find your way, though. Like sometimes something
No,
wrong has to be really brought to light before you can do anything
Which
about
I guess
it.
is what Rosalind says.
Well, yeah,
like,
'cause-
you made a good point.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, Rosalind's
She can
so
see to that
involved.
point real quickly too.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did.
so Rosalind's involved in so many different things that she can't have her hand on the pulse of everything, right? It's
Right.
impossible.
right.
So someone would need to really enlighten her, whether it be easy enlighten or something more drastic, for her to really appreciate what's going on.
I think the chief is the right guy too.
Yeah, in the long run.
He is.
But to really, in leadership, sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't keep your hand on everything. It's impossible.
Do you think part of her respect for Chief and her hearing Chief has to do with her time on New Caprica, where she saw there are no limits this man would not go to win, like between suicide bombings? Like, this guy ain't gonna joke around. Like, right. So do you think that helps? Like, he has the clout.
I think
to not mess with him.
For sure, his status on New Caprica helps give him a little bit more weight.
Well, because it's a relationship.
And she even said, like, you should be the union leader, too. Like, she is the one who's like, you need to speak for the people because no one is speaking. You're getting angry voices yelling and screaming, but I need rational voices in here explaining things.
Because when you have angry voices
you're not
screaming,
listen.
you turn them off.
Yeah, exactly, which is what's been happening, right? I only hear from you when you're complaining. I don't hear when things are going well. So tell me the whole story.
That's how things work.
Yeah.
Have you ever read like internet reviews? Your people are more apt to say I didn't like this place than they are to say, hey, this is a good place.
I was hoping you'd go to like a really dark place with that. Like, have you ever read Mein Kampf? Have you ever read?
No. I'm good on.
Have you ever read Karl Marx? Like, you're going to these no. Joe's really creating issues today.
I'm really digging myself a hole here.
Yeah.
Too soon, Joe.
I don't like that you use the word deserve. Do they deserve to survive? I don't like it.
Yeah, deserve is a really kind of
big fracking deal.
It's really kind of a damning term.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
But like, I think
is worthy better? Are they worthy to survive as a civilization?
I think worthy is a bit better.
It's still not great. I get that.
But I do think they are worthy.
Oh, yeah,
because they're examining they're examining the warts of what's going on right now. And obviously, like the people at the top, Adama, Roslyn, and even probably Ty to a certain degree, don't have their fingers on the pulse of a lot of the ins and outs of what is going on.
Well, it's always hard to see someone else's point of view when you're focused on, like Bill is focused on the survival of everyone. So his number one. So all he sees is making the fleet survive. He doesn't necessarily care about the inner workings of the fleet itself because he's not a politician. He's not into that line of business. Mm-hmm. His business is, we have to live, and the only way we can live is by being ready at all times and being military sound.
And so, to your point of saying that wasn't very out of character for Bill to say, is that the reason behind your
my DS9 pun? It was a necessary evil in his eyes. Is if we don't have this material, I don't care how we get this material. We have to survive. My responsibility is that everybody here lives. And you've crossed the line to the point where that's in jeopardy. I'm going to cross that line as well.
See, I view this as a bluff. See, a Bill Adama bluff.
It might have been. Absolutely.
Well, even Chief was like, you won't do that.
Right. But like, it was absolutely a bluff. Well,
he said, I'll kill 10 Callies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To protect his crew, which is true. Well, this goes back to unfinished business where he's like, I've let you people become too soft. I've gotten too close to you. This tracks with that.
No, it does. And that is, I picked up on that. And that is a reason I like this, because it takes something that happened in a previous episode and it writes it into the future.
Which
episodes,
they did not do to O'Brien.
Well, they didn't do to O'Brien. They didn't do it to a certain degree with Cisco.
No. With his kid
he had
living and dying.
Yeah, he had an overarching, high
don't
level.
Don't forgive those things.
But this isn't like these are specific examples of where this happened, which in reality should affect the way that he does. Bill
Adama has triggers, and when you hit one of those triggers,
he does.
You hit it hard.
He will break character or break his normal operating procedure for his greater good, which is the survival of the fleet.
So I did think it was kind of badass.
Oh my gosh! And the way he delivered that line,
I'll shoot 10 Callies.
He was going to wipe out with the nukes everybody on the surface, in order to make sure the Cylons wasn't going to do
I
it.
still think he would have done it.
I think he would have done it too. I honestly think here, if it came down to the greater good of everyone surviving, he's killing 10 Callies. And I agree. He delivered that whole thing beautifully.
Yes.
He would put 10 Callies against the wall to be shot to ensure the survival of the fleet, was his exact quote.
Like, don't mess with that guy, man.
You know,
Where's he going to get 9 other Callies?
I don't know. Listen, put your ears out.
well, Starbuck could be one for you,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
She's gonna know.
Baltar
that.
could serve as a Callie.
I will not joke about killing anybody again in this
I'll
episode
tap
of our
in.
podcast.
I will kill 100 Baltars.
Oh, I'll kill Baltar.
Yeah.
He's a bum.
I think though, like, you know, I think about that scene, and I think that the way Adama works is he bluffing? Yes, but he's also prepared for all contingencies, which is why he would take her to be shot if it came down to it. I think he would, but he also knows the chief, and he knows that he'll probably give, which is why he's already had the conversation with Rosalind set up to go. You know, like, I think he's playing all the angles. He knows.
Yeah, because that was set up obviously before he went in that room, because he already had, he already said, now you have to meet with the president, and Chief was surprised. So yeah, obviously he set that up, but I think I wouldn't put it past it down to put the bullet in her head.
I would have been like, I will line up 10 Callies against the wall, and they will die of natural causes neatly and
after they've lived a long, full, and happy life.
In an airlock that
Where
may
I have
been
supported
open.
them financially through my charitable gifts because I am a good guy.
I am a good person.
I am one neat
I'm a
guy.
good boy.
I'm a good boy.
And gosh darn it, people like me.
People like you.
I don't think they do, but
So I do. So all this is to say, I do feel like in a way this goes against his character, but not all at the same time. I think he's being the man that the fleet actually needs him to be.
Yep.
He's not being the man he wants to be. He's being what the fleet needs, and they need him.
He's playing his role.
now, do you think Rosalind was out of character a little bit? Because she was really tough and
It's Baltar.
hard edged.
Baltar's her trigger.
Baltar is
That's
her
true.
trigger. Yeah. So
She was really hard edged in the first quarter or so of this episode before Chief made the point, and she was like, that's a really good point.
But they also showed her where she was like, oh yeah, point, counter. And so she was able to get more in the line. I think that as soon as Baltar got involved, she lost her objectivity. Because
I think so.
I do too. As soon as they say, like, and the worst part about the Baltar line is that's reality, to your point, Nick, and that frustrates me so much that people are just like, oh, this guy, like, he was a villain to these people a year ago or less than a year ago, and now they're like, it's got some good points. Pisses me off because that does happen.
it's rewriting historical events.
Yeah.
Going back to American politics, January 6th, right after it happened, everyone agreed it was terrible, including that political party, and now it wasn't. It was a deep state fake, and you know what I mean? Like, it's a narrative change. We do that all the time in history.
Anybody, never mind. I'll get into it.
Yeah. I know.
Are they really writing Baltar as Jesus?
Do you want me to confirm or deny that, like, for you?
No, because they are. I know they are. It's ridiculous. It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
I can't.
No, but I think you're getting to see different layers of Baltar. Like, I really appreciate the
Not me.
conversation between
No.
him and the conversation between him and the chief doesn't show you how this man works a little bit more, realizing that he was an Aerolon, like he was a farmer for all these years. He's pretending to be something he's not.
Until he was 18.
Your childhood is influential in who you are. I grew up poor, and now I'm living in a comfortable place. I still feel like I'm pretending. I still feel like this isn't real. I still feel like me being able to put my kid through college is not something that's real. I feel it's all fake. I feel like I'm not who I really am because of my childhood. And I feel like in a lot of ways I overcompensate because of that. So there are times where I feel like I'm harsher against the people I grew up with and how they respond and how they act in situations because I could have been in that situation. So it's
I don't know
easier
if
for
I
me.
do that though, because we came up with not a lot of money either. And then obviously the religious backgrounds and the upbringings, and I think that of course it influences in some way, shape, or form, but I don't think there's any kind of any kind of poor reaction to that. It's just because I just think that I take situations and think about it and go, all right, this is what I need to do. I don't know if it influences me as much as it does you, and that's just me.
Okay.
I could be dead wrong too.
This could be a matter of you also don't care at all what people think about you,
Don't really care.
right?
Yeah.
It's very important to me what people think about me. It's a character flaw.
Is it a flaw though?
It can be. Yes, absolutely. Baltar has that same issue. He wants to be loved. He wants to be needed. He wants to be important. And I think because of his upbringing,
He wants to be right more than anything else too.
but that's part of being loved and needed and all that.
Really?
Hmm. Because he wants to be right, but
See,
he wants people to see him as being right.
See, I don't view that as like. I don't think people need me to view them as me need. Wow, I can't talk. Me needing to be right and people to view me as being right as that. I don't view it as that. I view it as just selfish. I view it as self-important. I view it as everything else but what you're saying.
Okay. I get you.
I just don't believe anything he says.
Yeah, I think he's full of crap.
This is a story that you can believe about Baltar.
I can believe it, but I think he's telling a narrative to suit him.
No. I
No.
believe this is a story you can believe about Baltar.
I don't. I still
About
think
his upbringing.
His upbringing.
Oh, sure.
And his hate against his own upbringing and the reasons for his hate against
But I think
it.
the only reason he's doing
trying
it
to
is-
unlearn his dialogue. Like, think about this in terms of think about racial components in today's society. You have a whole part of our society. A lot of black people feel like they have to code switch when they're around white people, and it's kind of a part of themselves that they end up resenting because they have to do it, and it forces them to be someone they don't want to be, and that can create some issues there, right? And then since they're one of us, we like them. They talk like us, they look like us, they're fine. But the second they don't like them anymore. So I think Baltar maybe has a little bit of this. He's an Erelon at heart, and he's pretending to be a Caprican. And because of that, he's arrogant, he's egotistical.
See, I view it the other
I
way
think he
around.
secretly hates himself.
I think he wants to be a Capricorn, and he in that situation he manipulated his Aragon or whatever the term is,
Erelon.
to then manipulate Chief.
Okay.
I think that he doesn't view himself as an Erelon. I think that he's risen above. I think he thinks he's better than that.
Isn't Aragon where Anna and Elsa are from in Frozen?
I think so.
Yeah. So here's my question. I understand you hate Baltar. I get it. I understand you think that he's always in for the long game and he's a con.
He's a butthole.
Do you really think truly almost everything he says is self-serving? You can't
Yes.
view this conversation with the chief and be like, maybe this is sincere. You can't see that.
Maybe a little bit of that conversation, but as far as the writing and everything like that, that is pure propaganda.
Okay. You see that as him trying to help
Manipulate.
people get on his side
Yeah.
because
Yes.
he knows the trial is coming.
Yes.
Absolutely trying to manipulate
I
everyone.
can get that.
I think there might be some truth to it, but the fact that he's trying to manipulate everybody at the same time, there's always going to be that seed where he's trying to spin favor to him, even in that conversation. While
Yes.
there might be truth in it, he is spinning that conversation to his benefit.
100%.
I know. I've met these people. I know these people.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, I get it. Okay.
734-494-0980. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell Nick he's wrong. Tell Joe he's awesome and funny.
Everything
No.
is awesome.
And dreamy.
Don't tell me anything. I don't deserve it.
This
today.
Shut your mouth.
This episode was originally titled "Our Enemies, Ourselves." I added the comma there.
Yeah. Was there a comma or no?
Yeah, it was, and it was originally supposed to be focused on D and the
nuts.
Sagittarian storyline that was from the Woman King.
The woman, comma, king.
Yeah. So, but they decided to move away from that. The stripping scene with Baltar's cell originally had Rosalind completely stripping Baltar of all of his clothes and having the first pages of his book fall out. And they wanted to depict his... R.D. Moore wanted to conflict his inner conflict, a feeling of victory for not submitting to Rosalind, but also the humiliation of being stripped down. The actors, though, persuaded Moore that the scene would work if Baltar did maintain his dignity. I kind of get that. Like it's a game they're playing.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
I say strip him of his dignity.
I said they should
And
have
his
threw him
pants.
out the airlock.
And
Yeah.
in the DVD commentary,
Never thought I'd say Zarek was right.
in the DVD commentary, Moore confirms that in the series Bible, Baltar does in fact come from a rural community.
Well, yeah, it obviously did come from that after the.
He was originally written to be from Sagittarian. However, once the story concept changed, they wanted to still keep the scene that had Dwala meet Baltar in a cell, but swap Dwala with the chief
Gotcha.
because the story no longer needed a connection to the Sagittarians. so they changed him to Erelon. So I think it's cool how they pull these things together. I really like the world building of this. About the more you pull it back, the more you see how different of a people they are.
Yeah.
You know, we focus so much on Caprica. It's kind of like Star Trek. We focus so much on the humans of Starfleet, but you don't focus on all these other aliens.
Too expensive.
And then, well, yeah, it's really when it boils down to its production values, but how they've created narratives like in DS9, Quark mentioned that like the humans feel like they're superior to everyone else, and you know, like they treat everyone a little differently, and other series have focused on this as well. I appreciate it. I like the world building a lot. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Gosh, I enjoyed the conversation on this episode a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good conversation. I do want to say it was great, minus Joe and his
Joe checking out. He pulled a Nick.
Joe
That joke really fucked with my head.
It really messed with you a lot.
It really
Do
did.
you want a hug?
No, I feel bad. I usually never feel bad about jokes I make. I think that was a bad one.
I don't think you need to
bad.
feel bad. I think people got it. I think you're good.
Yeah, I think
I
you're.
didn't
I think
like
you're wrapped in your own head.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm a habitual overthinker.
Yeah.
It happens to all of us.
It did take me out.
All right, let's rate these bad
For a little bit.
boys. Day in the life.
Tens.
A day in the life. So the airlock episode.
Oh, thank you.
And that was also, gosh, what was our Adama and Rosalind stuff?
Ooh.
4.5.
I say this is another one I'm torn on because I like the Dama and Roz and stuff. Don't
you
like
hate-
the wife stuff and don't like
It's
the
a case
airlock
of
stuff.
hating the A story but loving the B story and vice versa.
Or so more like liking the C story and not liking
Yeah.
the A and B story.
Yep, I get you.
You said 4 or 5?
4.5. Yeah.
It's not a 5, that's for sure. I'm gonna go with 4 for the moment.
I'm 4 or 5. Dirty Hands. This is. I give this one a 7. I enjoyed this story a lot.
Before we start talking about it,
It was lower.
it was lower.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 6.
I go 7.5.
7.5. Okay.
6.5. No idea.
Okay. That you can still alter up until the point the episode ends.
Yeah, as soon as
After
you
the
hit,
episode
as
ends,
soon as you stop recording.
it's done. It's done. All right, there we go. So we trended back up on this episode. It's been a while since we've had an episode we've really loved, but we're getting there. Rapture was the last one we really loved. That was 4 episodes ago. We're getting there. So now we're coming to the conclusion of season 4 or 3. We have 4 episodes left. We have Maelstrom, The Sun Also Rises, and then
S-U-N or S-O-N?
S-O-N.
Ooh.
The Sun Also Rises.
Ooh.
I didn't know that. I was just asking.
The Sun Also Rises, and then Crossroads Part 1 and 2.
See you at the
Nice.
crossroads.
Hell yeah.
So as you know, next week we're taking a break because you'll hear our interview with Will Wheaton.
Is that next week? Isn't it Beyond? And then Will Wheaton?
I lied. Next week we're going to take a quick break, and you're going to hear a Star Trek Beyond review.
Going to finish up our Trek series.
We're going to finish up our original Trek movies.
The Kelvin timeline?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to finish that up, and that'll air on July 31st. And then August 7th, you're going to hear a Will Wheaton interview.
Nice.
And then the 14th.
He's coming back on? Friend of the show, Will Wheaton.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
He vouched for us with Jonathan Frakes.
He did.
That's right.
And we're back to Will Wheaton. Then we record. Then we have the season 3 finale coming up on the 21st of August. But you have the other 2 episodes coming up on the 14th. So there you go. And then we're done with season 3. Then we go into season 4, and we'll be done with that
There's a 4th season?
by November, which means we're going to be starting. Which this actually tracks out well. We started Battlestar Galactica in December. We're going to start Star Trek Next Generation.
We're going to give them the gift of going back to the Next Generation.
Yeah, Next Generation.
That's your Christmas gift.
I'm telling you, it's not going to feel like a Christmas gift.
No,
the
that first season's brutal.
It's not.
Brutal.
And we're getting rid of formulaic storytelling. We're going to standalone episodes. So, I mean, I'll be interested to see. We've had 2 series in a row, which carry over
They're
every
arcs,
episode.
yeah.
Arcs. Now we're going to a show that really doesn't.
Yeah. It's
It's going to be hard, I think.
especially early on.
Yeah.
It's going to be brutal.
We'll see. But we're getting there with the season 3 finale. I love the season 3 finale of Battlestar Galactica. You get a lot of answers, but also more
Hush.
questions. But also, well, that's every series, right? Season 2, you had answers, but with questions, because season 2 ends with New Caprica and her not the president. Season 1 ends with Adama getting shot. You had the storyline conclude.
Spoiler.
But they had more questions, so
When do we get to our rewatch of Mike and Molly?
never.
Didn't you want to do Home Improvement?
I would love to do Home Improvement.
No.
Can we do Home Improvement
I
after?
can't do Tim Allen, man. I can't separate the personal from the professional.
Really?
No, I can't. I
I don't know, I
can't.
never
Let's go to the Kid Rock concert tonight.
Yeah.
Bar with the bar, the bag, diggy, diggy.
He's not, guys. Just so you know that I don't want to.
I'm going to Ed Sheeran.
That's worse than what I said.
I know it is worse than what you said.
Ed Sheeran. I'm going to see Ed Sheeran.
And it has nothing to do with his politics.
Yeah,
It's all the
the
music.
music is terrible.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Mhm.
For the people who were fooled in the early 2000s by his terrible music,
I think a lot of people.
It was
were
the
fooled.
era. Again, this goes back to Limp Bizkit
You will not speak in the good name of
And- and-
Fred Durst.
and Creed.
Limp Bizkit was way better than Kid Rock ever was.
Yeah.
Kid Rock was different, I think, because he merged rock and rap in a different way. I know
Different,
other
terrible?
bands have done that.
Terrible.
I know ICP did that.
He was
I know-
always terrible.
He was terrible, but he was also accessible to people. That's why
Terrible.
he was marketable, which is weird
Terrible.
because he was a white
Always terrible.
dude.
The rat. Looks like a rat.
Yeah, he looks like a rat.
He is a rat.
Terrible.
Anyways, follow
Always.
us on social media at Cardassians Pod.
Find us on Threads.
Find us on Threads. Go to Instagram, keeping_up_Cardassians.
For that and Threads.
That answer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hot.
Again.
I know.
Patreon, bro.
Patreon. Go there.
We did one of those last week.
Join our tiers. We did a Patreon. So join us, folks. We love you. We'll miss you. Bye.
Sorry, guys.